Hello, hello, lovely people. I hope you're well. I'm actually, I think, 1 or 2 minutes late. I do apologize. Sorry, I'm late. I hope you're all well. So nice to see you. Oh my goodness, the numbers are going up so quickly. So nice to see you all. Thank you very much for joining. I don't know where you are right now, but in Manchester, the weather was gorgeous today. Absolutely smashing. It was really nice. Honestly, I really didn't want to come in. I didn't want to come in. I really didn't want to come in. The weather was so nice today. It was really nice. So I hope you're all well. I hope you've had a good weekend so far and you're ready for tonight's live. Now, as I mentioned in the poster that I posted, we're going to talk about mistakes, not from Farsi speakers, but from native English speakers. Native English speakers, they make lots of mistakes. We do. We definitely make lots of mistakes. Sometimes, actually, oh, yeah, lovely. Sometimes, actually, when I've got lessons with my students, some of my students say, Layla, can you repeat that again? Could you say that sentence again? I just made my mistake. Could you repeat again? We can't say repeat and again. Repeat, it means say it again. Again, we don't need to again in the sentence. Do you see what I mean? So even as native English speakers, we make lots of mistakes. And usually when I have lessons, sometimes the students say, Layla, say that again. What was that? Is that correct? Can you explain? And I have to say, oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. No, it's not correct. Unfortunately, sometimes we do make mistakes. So tonight we're going to talk about mistakes that native English speakers make. And you can have a little laugh if you wish. That's fine. I'm sure nobody will judge you if you have a little chuckle by yourself. Lovely. So before we start, just a couple of things I wanted to mention. So lovely, lovely weather today. I hope it was nice for you as well, wherever you are. Tonight, in England, in the UK, sorry, in the UK, excuse me, in London, I believe we currently have the BAFTAs going on. BAFTA. Does anybody know what BAFTA means? BAFTA, B-A-F-T-A, B-A-F-T-A. And usually we say the BAFTAs, so we add S at the end. Does anybody know what the BAFTAs are? Anybody? The BAFTAs. The BAFTA, yes, BAFTA award. Lovely. Music award. Okay, music award, we call them the Grammys. Film awards, lovely. It's like the UK Oscar. Very good. British Academy Awards, fantastic. So BAFTA is the British, I've got it down, British Academy for Film and Television Award. So it's the BAFTA Awards going on tonight. You know how we have the Oscars in America? We've got something similar to that, of course, much, much smaller. We've got that in England, the UK, called the BAFTAs. And they mainly celebrate films that are heavy with their British actors maybe, or produced or directed by somebody British. We call them the BAFTAs. Okay. I don't know if any of you watched the film Oppenheimer. I even did a review on my YouTube channel about the film Oppenheimer. It's very interesting. So sorry, I've done a lot of speaking today. I apologize. It's a very, very interesting film based on a true story. They call him the father of the atomic bomb. Very interesting, very powerful. It's over 3 hours. The film is quite lengthy. The film is quite lengthy, but it was definitely worth it. I had to watch it more than once. So much information, so much going on, but it was really nice. It was definitely very, very interesting. میشه درباره ثبت نام زبان توضیح بدهید؟ Okay, sure. I actually have some courses here that I will be running on my website, and I just want to let you know if anybody's interested. I will be starting a modal verbs course. Modal verbs. It's not a grammar course, it's a conversation course where we are focusing on modal verbs in conversation. Sometimes you can use a very simple word in English, which is fine. But then if you want to speak a little bit more advanced, we can use modals just to make it a little bit more fancy, a little bit more fluent with your English. That's one. But also we use modal verbs a lot in the English language. Layla, what are modal verbs? Modal verbs like can, could, shall, should, will, would, that I know lots of people have questions about, may, might. All of these are modal verbs, how we use them in English conversation. So that is the course that I will be starting very soon. That will start on Monday, 25th of March. Monday, 25th of March, you will have the lesson ready on my website. On the Sunday, we will have an online session every week where we will discuss and practice the lessons. That's one course. I have another course which will be starting in April, mid-April, and that's advanced grammar. So you will be learning about advanced phrasal verbs, about mixed conditionals. You will be learning about more advanced tenses, the perfect version of some of the tenses, and obviously articles and all of that kind of thing. And finally, the one that has been going crazy, I don't know, I really don't know how many people have signed up for the podcasts. It's been going insanely crazy. Thank you so much, anybody who's joined. My inbox is still full. I still need to go back and check, receipts from Iran and students who've applied from all over the world with the podcast. It's gone absolutely crazy. Thank you so much. I really didn't know that you would welcome podcasts from me so much. I would have made it sooner. So anybody who is interested in taking the podcast again, if you're still interested, please do remember this is only for upper intermediate students and above, okay? And I've had to say this a lot to the students. There are lovely students who will write to me in the DM. They usually write in Farsi, or I can feel that their English isn't very good. Unfortunately, it's not high enough. And they will say, I want your podcast. And I say, I'm so sorry. You might find it too difficult, and I don't want it to upset your confidence. So please do remember the podcasts are only for people who are upper intermediate and above. Okay, so you can really make the most of it as much as possible. Anybody who is in my live right now, if you type the word podcast, if you just type it right now, the word podcast, you will get an automatic message coming into your DM showing you how you can enroll if you want to, and also give you more information about it as well if you're interested. So all you have to do is just type podcast. I can see people starting to type, and hopefully you should get an automated message coming straight to your DM, which will give you the link to the website. It'll give you the sale price, and it'll tell you about it. Yes. So many people wrote to me, Layla, £35 for one podcast or 10? I would never charge you £35 for one podcast. Absolutely not. So it's 10 podcasts, 10 lessons, which is for £35, and you can download them, you can keep them forever. That's yours to keep. What do I do in the podcast lessons? What I've done is either I have got a reading article that I read and then I talk about it, and obviously we look at the vocabulary, idioms, slang, phrasal verbs, but more importantly, I want you to pay attention in my podcast to see how I have a discussion about a topic. Okay. با خودم یکم سوال جواب میکنم in the podcast, just to give you an idea of what a conversation would be like if I was talking to somebody else about this topic. I've taken clips of programs, so you'll watch a short video, obviously about British culture, and then I'll talk about that. Everything about these podcasts is either going to be helpful to you who are living in the UK or an English-speaking country, or it will help you to understand the British culture, okay? Because that's a big part of learning a language, I think. And I've been saying this so many times. To learn a language, we have to learn the culture. We can't just learn the vocabulary and grammar. We have to learn the culture of the language as well. I've said this many times before. If I have a guest who comes into my house and I say, هر جا دوست داری بشین, that might not be very polite in the Farsi culture, not at all. But in the English culture, make yourself comfortable. Sit anywhere. It's very polite. So it's not just about the vocabulary and grammar and pronunciation. It's about the culture as well, how the English is used. So that also is something that you will learn in this podcast. And once you finish the podcasts, you will see that you've picked up some lessons just by looking at my face maybe, or looking at my body language, things that you might not even hear, you have to watch. Like we do that a lot, yes? Or we do that a lot with our face. We communicate a lot with our face. And these are the things also that will help you. The podcast, you can either watch it on the video or you can have it as just audio as well. I'll make both of them available and you can download all of them and save all of them for yourself forever. So that's the podcast, and that was the question. Okay, lovely. Can we pay in the room? Can we pay in the room? I don't know what that is, sorry. But if you type podcast, hopefully in your DM, you should have an automated response that will help you. And if anybody is in Iran, yes, of course, you can buy it from Iran as well. I will send you the price in Tumons and, of course, a card that you can transfer it to. Please remember, because this has been a very big question from everybody. Layla, I've enrolled. Where are the podcasts? They're not on the website yet. They're all on my laptop right now. They're not on the website yet. They will be available. The first podcast will be available on Friday, 1st of March. Okay. Excuse me. Can we pay from Iran? Yes, of course. I have noticed in these years that I've been teaching that if I throw everything and make everything available, some students will watch 5 minutes of lesson 1, 2 minutes of lesson 2, forget lesson 3, go all the way down to lesson 8. I didn't learn anything. Okay, so that's why with the podcast, I really want people to pay attention, to listen to them one by one, because you learn lots and lots of things. It's not just English that you'll learn in the podcast. Okay, so that's that. Lovely. Let's get back to the lesson. Let's get back to tonight's lesson, right? Let's see. I'm going to turn the comments off. So what we're going to do tonight is we're going to look at mistakes that native English speakers make. I posted a story, if any of you saw, on Instagram. I think it was yesterday. I had a lovely conversation with a lovely guy called Peter. He's an English guy, and he specializes in driveways and building, basically brickwork, all that kind of thing. Lovely guy. But he doesn't have a lot of education, okay? So I don't know, he might have just finished school and then that's it. He didn't go to college or university, which is fine, but he's very good at what he does. And I wanted to have a conversation with him in text message. I just wanted to know if I could get a quote from him or his mate, his friend, for our front door. I've got an issue. I want to update the entrance to the house. And I wanted a quote from him. I really like his work. He's come and done some work for me before, and I wanted a quote from him. I didn't want to go to someone I don't know. So that was the nature, موضوعه, yeah? That was the nature of my conversation in text message. And somewhere you might have seen that he used this word. You might have seen, if I can get that. In one of his parts, he used this word, yes? He said, if that's okay for youz, or if that's appropriate for youz, yes? And that's the one that when I put in the story, I asked everybody, what's the mistake in this conversation? And students wrote all different kinds of things, but this was the mistake. This was the mistake. Why was it the mistake? Because youz, basically, he was trying to say youz, which means all of you. We don't have youz in English. We have you, one person, and then again we have you, many people. We don't have youz. So he meant you, all of you, but he actually wrote youz. He didn't even use the correct spelling of youz. Why is that? It's because a lot of English speakers, just like this great guy, Peter, he's so good with his job, in his own skill, he's really good. But he's learnt English by listening. He didn't go to college or university, so he didn't sit and write and use a dictionary and look at the spelling of words, and he didn't look at it from an academic point of view. He left college and went straight to work, which is fantastic. He's very successful now. But that's what I'm trying to say. Just because he's native English doesn't mean he doesn't make mistakes. We all make mistakes. So tonight is just a chance for you to relax. Please don't keep thinking of your mistakes. Don't keep thinking, oh, my English isn't perfect. Guess what? Our English isn't perfect either. Yeah? So that was one thing that I thought I would share with you. Another mistake that English speakers make a lot, of course not everybody, but we do hear this a lot, is this. Hopefully you can see that. Excuse my handwriting. من باید برعکس پشت رو برعکس باید می نوشتم, so you could see it in the camera, yeah? I could care less. I could care less. I could care less. That's not correct. Now, what does it mean? This person wants to say, it's not important to me. He or she wants to say, I don't care. I don't care. It's not important to me. Excuse me. So he or she, they, says, I could care less. I could care less. But that's not correct. Let me write the correct version here. The correct version is I couldn't care less. Not I could care less, I couldn't care less. That's the correct version. We have to change it from positive to negative. Now it means I don't care. Now it means it's not important to me, I don't care. I couldn't care less. I don't suggest you use this with your boss at work. It's very informal. It's what we use if we're talking to our friends. It's what you might use if you're in a bit of an argument or a disagreement with a neighbor, with someone, I don't know, in a shop, whatever, those very, very informal situations. It's not something that you would use at a meeting or an academic setting at all. But I couldn't care less. It means I don't care. It's not important to me. I don't care. And I don't care is very different to I care. Yeah, one of them's negative, one of them's positive. So when they say I could care less, that's wrong. It means, yes, it's very important to me. They want to say it's not important to me. I couldn't care less. That's what they should say. Okay, so that's what they should say, but they say it the wrong way around. That's why sometimes we think, we know what that person wants to say, and straight away we know, I think you mean I couldn't care less. But of course, we don't correct people. That's another point. In the British culture, Normal people outside on the street will not correct you. They will not correct you. Please do not expect normal people outside on the street in the UK to correct your English. They will feel very uncomfortable correcting your English, very uncomfortable, because that's not what we do in our culture. We don't correct other people. That's very, very rude. Even if people make a mistake, we would never correct them. We understand it's a mistake and we understand what the correct version is, but we never ever correct them. It's very insulting and rude to that person, and we feel uncomfortable doing it, so we don't say anything. Okay, now you might think, so how do I know if I've made a mistake, Layla? The way you know if you're living in an English-speaking country is we will not correct your mistake on the street, but when we answer you, because we are hopefully using correct English, from our response, from our answer, you will learn the correct version. That's why it's so important that when you're learning English, I'm going to turn this on for a minute, that when you're learning English, you don't just stick yourself in a room with your textbook and with your notebook writing. English is not something you can learn by yourself. English is something that you have to be able to use it with somebody. And if you are in an English-speaking country, use that opportunity. That's a golden opportunity that you have. Get out of the house. Go out. Learn. Use it. Leila June, I've moved to Canada, Australia, wherever. I don't have any friends. I don't have a job. I don't go to college. I don't study. And I can't speak English. Well, of course you can't, because you haven't given yourself the opportunity to learn. We learn something, then we have to go and use it, don't we? And that's your opportunity to go and use it. Okay, lovely. I think I lost my other piece of paper there. I have one more. Do I have one more? Yes. I've got one more that I want to use with you. And it's this one. A lot of people will say this. I've saw it. I've saw it. Yeah, that's what they'll say. I'll say, for example, have you seen Titanic? Have you seen Oppenheimer? Have you seen, I don't know, the Barbie film or anything? Yeah, I've saw it. I've saw it. And as you know, this makes the sound R in the English language. So this, I'm going to write it here. So you can see when we add these two together, it makes the sound R. I saw it. I saw it. R. I saw it. I saw it. I'm going to put it up here. Okay, so, or I've saw it. I've saw it, which means that's not correct, is it? They should say I've seen it. They need to use the past participle, but they use the past simple. Yeah, oh yeah, I've saw it. It's great. Okay, so they use this a lot. Thank you. All of you right now are correcting it. You're writing the correct version right now in the live. Well done. Because you know, we don't say I've saw it. We say I've seen it. But that's what some native English speakers use. So why am I saying all of this to you tonight? I don't want to make fun of anybody. We don't want to laugh at anybody. I just want you to know you are putting a lot of pressure, a lot of stress on yourself. You want to learn English. And a lot of people tell me, I want to learn English perfectly. Well, what I'm going to say to you is good luck. Because a lot of native English speakers aren't perfect either. So if you want to learn English and you want to be perfect, Baba, teach me. Okay. So we're not perfect. Please don't expect so much from yourself, because then you might really feel exhausted and stressed. I just want to tell you that even native English speakers make lots and lots of silly mistakes, very silly mistakes, like the word use. You know it's wrong. Yeah, we don't have use in English. We have you. Like the word, yeah, I've saw it. No, not I've saw it. I've seen it. I've seen it. Or these kind of things. Okay. Lovely, lovely. Right. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Very good. So thank you very much for coming onto this lesson for tonight. I just wanted to introduce these few sentences with you, just to let you know, no one's perfect. Please don't put too much pressure on yourselves. Okay. Lovely. You're amazing. You're amazing. You're amazing. I just sit here and talk. Honestly, I'm not doing anything. I'm just sitting here and talking and really enjoying the opportunity that I get to be in the lives of you lovely, lovely people for half an hour. That is, fantastic for me. I love it. You are doing all the hard work. You're the ones who are juggling life, family, work, learning, some of you immigration, some of you want to leave Iran. You are the ones dealing with all of this. So well done to you. Absolutely well done to you. Is it recorded, this meeting? Yes, it's going to end up on YouTube. Excuse me. Thank you, Bita, as always. How can I improve my speaking? Okay, that's a good question. A lot of people have said, Layla, I don't know how to speak. Of course. If I ask you to go and make a type of meal, a food, a dish that you've never cooked before, the first thing you're going to say is, well, what are the ingredients? And I need a recipe, right? So if I say to you for the very, very first time, for example, please go and make, I don't know, beef stroganoff. You've never made it before, for example. You want to know what kind of dish it is. You want to know what the ingredients are. You want to see the recipe. You want to know what you need. You can't just go in the kitchen and start making it, can you? It's the same with learning English. First, we need to learn a little bit of something and then go practice it. Make mistakes, learn from our mistakes and come back, learn again and go use it. This going and coming back, that is what makes your English much, much stronger. Please don't just sit in a room and start studying and writing English. There are people telling me, I study English 6 hours a day. Oy, what are you doing for 6 hours a day? English isn't the same as maths. So please use it as much as you can. What's the best way to improve listening? Best way to improve listening, depending on your level. If you want to watch something on TV, if your level is a little bit lower, watch something that's a little bit easier so you can see it, and the visual of what you see will help you with your listening. If you can have the subtitles on as well, so you can read what it's saying and you can hear what it's saying at the same time. That's really useful. Also, I would recommend podcasts where you can listen and you can see the transcript as well. The same as my podcasts as well. You'll be able to listen to me talking and you will have the transcript. So if there's any part that I say it too quickly, I use an idiom that you don't know what I said, you can go to the transcript and you can hear the pronunciation. That's how I would suggest you start. It's required to be more talkative. Absolutely, absolutely. The key is in the word speaking. We have to speak to learn how to speak a little bit more. Lovely. Thank you. Thank you. What time do you come live on Sundays? Every Sunday evening at 7 o'clock. But from tomorrow, just for 1 week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, for 1 week starting tomorrow, I will be live every night at 7 o'clock. Okay, just for 1 week, I will be live every night, 7 o'clock, right here. And all of my lives will be recorded. All of them will be on YouTube, ready for you to watch for 1 week. Okay, lovely. So different people live different places. I live in the UK. Do you think having a radio, listening to it is a good example for... Yeah, that's great. That's great. That's what I do. That's exactly what I do. I listen to podcasts. Actually, this guy, I've got his book as well. I love this guy. You might recognize him, Anthony Robbins. Fantastic guy. Oh my goodness, he's amazing. Anthony Robbins, Unlimited Power. That's the book I'm reading right now. As you can see, it's right next to me. I'm constantly reading. You might have seen Artefe's recent reel on Artefe the teacher, her page. Recently, her most recent reel, I think it's from today. She went into a bookshop. And she was talking about different books and how different category of books can help. One of the books she was talking about is self-development books, and I completely agree with her. She's absolutely right that development books really help. They really, really help. And so I either read books to help me, self-development, or I listen to these guys' podcasts. Now, he's an American speaker, that's fine. I don't care about the pronunciation and accent. I just want to hear what he has to say. And he is absolutely fantastic. Can you share her page link? I'm not sure about the hyphens. خط فاصله داره اسم ID ایشون مطمئن نیستم کجاست. Sorry. But her page is called Artefe the Teacher. Artefe the Teacher. She's fantastic. Lovely. Thank you. Yes. So self-development books, I really, really recommend. Absolutely. Really good. So when you're cooking, if you're driving, if you're cooking, that's the whole reason why I'm doing these podcasts. You are in the car waiting for your kids to finish school, come out. Yeah, you're sitting in the car. You're driving home from work. You're on the bus going to work. You are in the kitchen, in the garden, in the shed, in the garage, wherever you are, and your hands are busy, your eyes are busy doing other stuff, but you want to listen. That is where we use podcasts, absolutely. Just listening to people. It's really, really helpful. Artefe.the.teacher. Thank you, Nari. Thank you so much. Yes, that's it. How can I learn vocabulary very well? Vocabulary, you need to increase your reading, please. Vocabulary, increase your reading so you can see the words, see the word in the sentence, get magazines if you can, books that you're interested in, and improve your reading, please. Okay, lovely. Yes, Artefe the teacher, there we go. She's amazing, isn't she? And she goes to all different places. I mean, I'm not a very outdoors person, as you might have guessed. I'm an indoor gal. That's culturally what we say about girls. I'm an indoor gal. I just like staying indoors. Obviously, I am sociable. I do go out. But when I'm working, I like to stay indoors. Obviously, I'm an indoor gal. And I usually obviously do my videos and reels and stuff in the house, but Artefe gets her hands dirty. She goes out all over Manchester. Good for her. Very good, very good. Okay, fantastic. Let me see. Is it possible to interact with you since you're live? You would like to interact with me. I've tried. A few people have requested to be in my live in the past, and I've accepted their request. I've clicked on their name, but nothing happens, so I stopped doing it. Let's see, who's this? I'm an indoor gal. Yes, I'm a homebody. Okay. Oops. So let's get rid of that. Lovely, lovely. What's the meaning of goodness? Okay, yes. So I don't say, oh my God. I say, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. This is what we say a lot in the UK. It's a cultural thing. We don't say God a lot. Yeah, unless it's, oh my God, yes. If it's a real shock, yes. But usually, if it's just normal things, we usually say, oh my goodness. Oh my gosh. These are usually what we say. A lot of people don't like to use the word God for everything. They think it's disrespectful to the word God. So instead we say, oh my gosh, oh my goodness, oh my gosh. There we go. Okay. Right. Yes, that is that. I think that brings us to 7:37. I make it 7:37. Yeah. That means I think by my watch it's 7:37. I make it 7:37. That means I think it is 7:37. Yeah, hopefully, I think by my watch. That brings us, that means that's the end of this now. That brings us to the end. That brings us to 7:37. And that's a little new word for you there. Lots and lots of these words, obviously, in my podcasts. Okay, thank you very much for listening. I hope to see a lot of you, if not all of you, during the week. If people want to come up and talk to me during the live sessions, we can do that during this week. Please, in the nicest way, I don't want any time wasters, please. Only request to come and speak on the live, come up and speak. If you really want to speak, okay, I don't want any time wasters. Thank you so much. Lovely, and I will hopefully see you tomorrow night, 7 o'clock UK time, 10:30 Iran, for another live session. Thank you very much, everybody. Have a good evening. Bye-bye.